Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, how are we getting on? So, it is update day, and Fallout Worlds is going live as we speak. So, patch notes are here, so let's jump in, take a look at everything that the update contains, including private and public worlds, new seasons, the daily ops expansion, and tons and tons of bug fixes too. So, let's take a look. Okay then, so we have a fairly epic splash to start things off with for this set of patch notes. As usual, we'll blast through this as quickly as we can, but obviously it'll take a little while, there's a fair bit in here. So, new ways to play is the first part of the update highlights. Experience Appalachia like never before with public worlds. Your world made to order. For Fallout First members, custom worlds are available. Daily ops are getting an expansion, including new locations, new rewards, new enemy group, and double mutation weekends, which will be interesting. And Nuclear Winter has now gone away, sadly. But the rewards, or most of the rewards from it, are available from public events, and we'll have a look at that in a moment as well. So, we have, as usual, the update sizes. We are swinging between 15.3 gigabytes on PC for BethesdaNet, and at its largest, 23.3 gigabytes for Xbox. So, yeah, medium-sized update. Not too horrific, but you may wish to dive into that. So, first things first, Season 5 extended for 2 weeks. So, the new stuff. Introducing Fallout Worlds. So we've gone over most of these worlds in detail in previous videos, so I'll make sure I link those either down below, up in the corner, that sort of thing, so you can catch up on the details of all the public worlds if you like. But with this update for Fallout 76, we're introducing Fallout Worlds, which offers players the ability to experience the game in unique new ways with 2 new game modes, Public Worlds and Custom Worlds. So, Public Worlds. The new Public Worlds mode will help shake up normal gameplay by offering special worlds that have pre-selected group of Fallout World settings enabled in order to fit a theme. All players can join Public Worlds to dive into an Appalachia that's wildly different from Adventure Mode. One Public World will be available at a time. Currently, we're planning to rotate Public Worlds once per month, so that you can regularly try out different variety of experiences. So, once a month, don't know, I'm guessing it'll be around about the 8th start of each month. Maybe start of the second week, somewhere around there, they've changed things over. Probably be a Tuesday, that's usually when they do it, but on the other hand they've shifted to Wednesdays recently, so keep an eye out for that. Obviously I'll let you know when these changes are coming as and when we find out. However, rotation frequency may change in future based on community feedback and other factors. They're going to see what works with the duration of these things. So the first 5 public worlds that will be available in-game were voted on the PTS Discord, and we are starting with Happy Builder, which is the one that won out as being the favourite. So that will be starting once the servers come back up today and running for a month, and it features reduced camp placement restrictions, relaxed building restrictions, and all map locations discovered and PvP disabled. So you basically be able to build anywhere, build more, and basically go crazy with it, which is fun. Obviously, as usual, these are not going to come across to Adventure Mode, as we discussed before. Progression doesn't currently come from public or custom worlds into Adventure Mode. It is confined to those worlds. Numerous reasons: avoiding pay to win, avoiding unfair advantages. In the case of Happy Builder, if there's 24 massive camps on a server, it's going to drag the quality down, and they want to at least make sure that doesn't happen on the Adventure Mode servers. So they did say at QuakeCon that in future they may well change things so that progression does cross over from public worlds and custom worlds to Adventure Mode, although it will probably be tied to specific settings, because certain things would be very pay to win, and they won't want to have that happening. Also, things like the high risk world where you've got PvP with, funnily enough, a high risk, they won't want that to affect non-PvP orientated players overly onerously, so that may not end up with cross progression. So I suspect they'll find a middle ground on that eventually, but we'll have to wait and see for that to come out. So, as I say, first one's going to be Happy Builder. Second world is going to be High Risk, which is the PvP. There's no fast travel, PvP is always on, and you lose additional loot on death. but you get free workbench crafting, and legendary item attributes are also disabled, so you'll keep your weapons, but they won't have their extra legendary effects, which basically means base weapons for everybody, so you balance out the PvP a little better. So following that we will have Dwell or Must Die, which is increased enemy difficulty. I'm struggling to say this today. You'll get better durability on your equipment, and you'll do a bit more damage yourself. And you'll get a unique weather effect, which is Dark Bog from the mire at night time, so that kind of eerie blue effect, but it'll be all over the map. And then following that we will have a Quantum World, which is increased jump height, no fall damage, nuked creatures and nuked flora, and Quantum Storm weather, which is very, very cool. And Butcher's Delight will be coming last, which is infinite ammo with no VATs or melee AP costs, and enhanced dismemberment, so Bloody Mess is always on. So, fun set of themes in there. As I say, the no cross progression is not to everybody's taste, but it may change in future. We'll have to see, especially if the feedback is overwhelming in that direction, which I think, to be fair, it has been so far. So, we'll have to keep an eye out. I think things will probably change on down the line. It's the way these things go. So, custom worlds. Those with Fallout First memberships can now choose custom worlds from the play menu. To create a new type of world, they can adjust a wide variety of different settings to create an aperture that is tailored to their liking. So, set up your own world style, your own play style. So, to create a custom world, click play from the main menu, select custom world, and select world template, and then you can start tinkering with the settings. Up to 7 friends can join you in your custom world, so that's the same as a standard private world. For a total of 8 per world. Please note, Private Worlds mode has been renamed to Private Adventure with today's update to differentiate it from Custom Worlds. So, Private Adventure is the same old Private Worlds you always had. Custom Worlds is the one you can change the settings on. While creating your custom world, you can choose among a broad array of customization settings and let your imagination run wild with the possibilities. Here are some of the options at your disposal. So, workshop options. You can build in previously restricted areas, disable the need for electricity, increase your camp budget and build height, and relax building restrictions, and more. For combat, you can have infinite enemies spawned, you can alter PvP rules, you can adjust enemy difficulty and give yourself infinite ammo, and change item durability, and more. So, general changes that you can make include disabling fast travel or making it free, choosing special weather effects including radstorms, nuke zones, as well as the new ones like Quantum Storm and Dark Bog. They can add filters for a unique view of Appalachia to make the whole world look different again. Adjust your jump height, fall damage, and the consequences on death. However, some custom world settings may impact client performance. However, you can still use them. So yeah, if you choose to spawn, say, tons and tons of creatures around you at all times, so you're constantly under attack, you may find that drags your frame rate down. So currently you can save a custom world you've created in one of 3 available slots, so you're able to have up to 3 saved presets effectively. And even if you've filled all 3 slots, you can still change them up. If you're a Fallout First member and you've played in a friend's custom world previously, you'll be able to log into it even if the owner is offline. To do this, select Custom Worlds from the Play menu, click View Worlds, and select your friend's world from the shared world, and set it to active. You can then play the world by selecting Custom Worlds from the Play menu. If you're not a Fallout First member, don't worry, you can still join your friends who are in their custom worlds whilst they are online, much like the regular private worlds. So, as long as you've played with your friends in their worlds before, you can basically import their settings across for yourself if you want, which is cool. So, character progressions. We touched on this already. The progress of each of your characters in public or custom worlds is specific to those worlds and completely separate for adventure mode. You can clone your adventure mode character for use in public or custom worlds at any time, and you can have up to 5 Fallout world characters at a time. Okay, that seems a bit odd, but fair enough. It would make sense to have 1 for each slot, so that's 3. I guess the 2 are for friends' worlds, I guess? Or using in other worlds. Once you've reached your 5 character limit, characters can be manually unlinked from public or custom worlds at any time. Your character progress in a public world will remain available as long as that public world is available to play. So those are the ones that are available for everybody. Obviously, once those worlds change over, that progress will go away. You'll have to effectively clone your character again into the public world, so it will be basically more up to date, which is the upshot of it, but progress you have made in the previous one won't continue. Additionally, please note that challenges cannot be completed and you will not earn score, achievements or trophies while playing in a public or custom world. Those are focused only on adventure mode. So that gives you a reason to stay in adventure mode as well. If you'd like to learn additional details, you can head over to the article on Bethesda.net or read the FAQ on the Fallout First website, both linked in here. And as usual, I'll have this set of patch notes linked down in the description as well for you. So yeah, as we've said with the character progression thing, a lot of people feel it makes the worlds rather pointless if you don't get progression, and I kind of get that. On the other hand, the idea is just to lark about and have fun in a different setting, and that's kind of fun, So that's the point of it, really. That said, we'll see. They have acknowledged, at least at QuakeCon, the feedback on lack of progression, and may well change things up in future once they've sort of got a feel for how things are working a little better on the live servers. So we'll see what happens on down the line. We do know there's a big quality of life patch, for example, coming in December, so that could well include subsequent changes to things like public worlds, which will be interesting. So, on to the Daily Ops expansion. Our latest expansion for Daily Ops brings a new weekend event that amps up the challenge but offers increased rewards. Read on for a brief overview of what we're adding to Daily Ops, including double mutation weekend events. So, during double mutation weekends, Daily Ops will be randomised each day, and enemies who have one of 8 unique combinations of 2 different mutations. So double mutation weekend events will typically run every other weekend, not quite every other weekend, but more or less, from Thursday through to Monday, starting and ending at the normal Daily Ops reset time, which I believe is 12 Eastern Time and about 5 in the UK. While Double Mutation event is active, daring adventurers who are willing to delve into Daily Ops will earn the following increased rewards: 2 to 6 legendary cores for first and all subsequent Elder tier completions. So at the moment you can get 1 to 3, and you only get it for your first Elder tier completion. In this case, you're going to get up to twice as many, and you will be able to earn those legendary cores over and over during the course of the weekend, which is very, very cool. So you get double XP from Daily Ops as well, at least while you're in there, and you get double the in-game currency rewards as well. But it does include significantly increased danger. So, full list of potential double mutations that enemies can spot during the new weekend events. So, just to reiterate how this works, if you've got a decryption event, they will still have Savage Strike. If you have Uplink, they will still have the increased perception, and then they will have 2 mutations on top of that instead of the usual 1 during these events. So the Blistering Cold enemies will have Freezing Touch and Swift-Footed, so that's going to be, brutal combination. Slowing you down whilst being really fast themselves is going to be painful. Chilling Mend is Freezing Touch and Group Regeneration. That'll make the group regeneration more effective for them because players will be slowed down, but that won't be the worst one. Clouded Toxins is active camouflage and toxic blood mutations. That won't be any worse than really the toxic blood is anyway, I don't think. Just avoid the blood pools once you've killed them, and then treat them the rest of the time as usual active camouflage enemies. Relentless enemies have resilient and group regeneration mutations. Now that's going to be hard, because obviously you'll have to finish them off with a melee attack, and they'll be healing while you're running over to wallop them. So you're going to have to get up close and personal while you're still shooting if you're a ranged character, so that you can melee them very, very quickly. Otherwise they'll heal up, particularly if there's a whole group of enemies, and your melee may not do enough damage to kill them. So that one's going to be brutal. Stinging Frost is Freezing Touch and Toxic Blood, so that's going to be hard. If you get caught in the Toxic Blood with freezing effect on you, it'll slow you down while you're in there, so that's going to be pretty deadly. Swift Stalker is active camouflage and swift-footed. Now I tried this one out on the PTS. That was harder than it sounds, particularly as it was Blood Eagles, and those Blood Eagles with the automatic laser rifles, especially when you combine it with Savage Strike, shred you, and when you can't see them and they're moving quickly, that's brutal to say the least, but good fun if you want a challenge. Unstable enemies combine Volatile and Swift-Footed, so that won't be too bad. Swift-Footed is the big thing there. Volatile doesn't really do a great deal of damage, especially if you've got Fireproof on anyway. And Vaporous combine Volatile and Active Camouflage. That's an odd combination for that name. But okay, yeah, that's fine. Active Camouflage is the big one there. So we have a new enemy group, Communists, that have been added to the randomised enemy group that you may encounter in Daily Ops mode. So there'll be a human-type enemy. I don't know whether or not they'll be ghoulified or not. I can't really remember. Those of you who went through the settler side of Wastelanders will be familiar with the Communists as a group because they pop up in that, but they've been brought into Daily Ops as well now to add even more variety. And obviously these will appear during the regular Daily Ops, not just the double mutation weekends as well. So we have 3 new locations, which is very, very cool. And I'm pretty happy about one in particular, but all of them in general. So we have Arctos Farmer Biome Lab. So the labs underneath Arctos Farmer have been added as a location. That's quite a large location, so it's kind of challenging there, particularly with camouflaged enemies, because finding invisible enemies in a large open location, they're hard to spot. But good fun though, and definitely nice to see that particular location, which is really, really pretty and fun to explore, getting some more use. Always happy about that. We have Watoga High School, which shouldn't be too bad because that's not particularly large, and the Uncanny Caverns, which I'm not quite sure how big that'll be. I'm guessing they'll have reworked the inside of this place. I haven't checked it yet, so I don't know. But it's a decent size, but there's a few areas that are closed off, so they might have had to add some extra paths in so you can get around the back areas. But it'll be interesting to see how that goes. There's 3 locations that don't have a huge amount of quests going on. Watoga High School, it's really only a couple of events really, and Uncanny Caverns, again, briefly visit during Steel Rain, and you can drop down there. I think there's another side quest that sends you in there as well, but aside from that, they don't get much use, so nice to see those being visited as well. So we have some new rewards, which are pretty cool as well. As usual, I think they'll be pushing the current tier of rewards sort of down a little bit, and they'll start to appear from Minerva as well. So hopefully they should be a bit easier to get, but these will be the new rare ones. So we have Arctic Marine Armor, which I don't know, some people might go for. I'm not sure what the special features of that will be, if anything. It may just be new skin. But a whole new set of marine armour with a sort of blue and black combat print type, which will be cool. We have the Mechanic's Best Friend Pipe Wrench. We'll have to wait and see for that one. It might be useful by the time Valentine's rolls around and we get to do Heart Wrencher again. If we do, hopefully we will. The Soul Survivor Lever Action Rifle. That'll be interesting. Lever Action Rifles with presumably unique abilities. Be cool. We have a black hazmat suit, which I know a lot of people like collecting their hazmat suits. I do as well, so that'll be fun. Myaluk King in a tube, which should be cool. Definitely a nice camp object there if you want to do some sort of science research station type camp builds. That'll be good for those additions. And we have the Blood Eagle Skull Lord outfit helmet and the Blood Eagle Auto Grenade Launcher paints as well. And of course, all of the existing stuff will be available as well. And I assume this stuff will go into the Minerva pool as well. But probably when the next update for Daily Ops comes around. So, additional improvements that have been made. We've addressed a number of issues that are affecting Mothman hatchlings. Those cute but deadly creatures will once again appear when cultists are the current Daily Ops enemy group. I've missed out on cultists quite a lot. I haven't actually fought cultists in Daily Ops in ages. I don't know if it's just because they've disabled the whole lot or not. But the Mothman hatchlings and their cultist friends will be reappearing in rotation, which is cool. Volatile enemy explosion damage has been adjusted and now does health percentage based damage that can be partially mitigated by anti-explosion effects. Okay, so volatile enemies are going to get more dangerous. Previously they were basically negligible, so yeah, good to know. Get clear once you kill them because they are going to actually hurt you now. And the reset timer has been adjusted. We've added a timer so you can more easily check when the next Daily Ops reset will occur. You can find the timer in the Intel section of the Daily Ops menu after selecting the Daily Ops from the World Activity Tracker. So when you expand that menu, it'll tell you how long until the reset, which is the new day of Daily Ops. So fairly cool. That's a helpful little feature, that nice little quality of life touch. So I think most of us know when it is by now, but still, nice to have that clarity, especially around sort of when daylight saving changes, because obviously that's coming up in the coming months as well, and things get a bit wibbly around then, so it's good to have that clarified. So, Nuclear Winter. With the arrival of today's update, we have removed Nuclear Winter game mode from Fallout 76. Alongside this change, we are granting rewards to all players who have completed at least one Nuclear Winter match, making many of the mode's progression rewards available in Adventure mode. So, the Nuclear Winter Pennant. All players who completed at least one match will receive a Nuclear Winter themed pennant they can build in their camp, so it's a small triangular flag. The pennant will be added to your wall decor category in the build menu within the next 2 weeks. Perk coins. With today's update, we're granting perk coins to players based on their progression in Nuclear Winter mode, so that you can have your legendary perk card collection a boost. You will receive 6 perk coins per Nuclear Winter perk card you earned from the Nuclear Winter progression system. You will also get 1 perk coin per Overseer ticket you earned. So, the more you win, the more you progressed, the more extra perk coins they're going to give you back. These perk coins have already been added to your account and will be available as soon as you log in. Awesome. So, the cosmetic rewards. A lot of these are coming across. There's certain things that will remain exclusive, which we'll touch on in a second, but the cosmetic items that are coming across will be available from a number of public events. So those are the ones with exclamation marks. And these are specifically the big ones, the tougher events, the more high tier ones, as opposed to the ones you can just more or less turn up and solo. So, many of the cosmetic rewards that could be earned by climbing Overseer ranks in Nuclear Winter are now available in Adventure mode as rewards you can claim by completing public events. Here's the current list of events where you have a chance to earn these cosmetics. Colossal Problem, so if you're defeating Earl. Encrypted. Project Paradise. Scorched Earth. And certain limited time events, which are Festive Scorched and Hunt for the Treasure Hunter at the moment. As far as I'm aware, there's a Hunt for the Treasure Hunter coming up in September, but I don't think there's any more for the rest of the year. So it'll be 1 Hunt for the Treasure Hunter and then the Festive Scorched at the end of the year at Christmas, plus the other events as well. Obviously, Project Paradise is the one that happens beneath Arctos Pharma in the Biome Labs. So particularly for Project Paradise, I'm happy to see that one, because relatively few people jump in and do that event, and it does need a decent number to get a good result. So I'd imagine these will be higher tier rewards, and you'll have to pull off the highest tier of success in order to get them. So that's quite challenging in Project Paradise, particularly if you've got less than 3 players who really know what they're doing. At a pinch, you can do it with 3 players who are really set up and ready and able to do it, but otherwise it's quite challenging. So hopefully that will mean more people in there and engaging with that event, because it's a fun one and a very cool location, as I said before. So, the exclusive rewards. Nuclear Winter trophies and statues will remain exclusive to players who earn them by climbing the ranks in Nuclear Winter. So you can build those in your camp if you've earned them, but you will no longer be able to get them. So those who earn them through Nuclear Winter will have that little badge of honour, I suppose, is the way to look at it. For more reasoning behind this change, you can read through this article on Fallout.com, or head here for more details about how rewards are being redistributed. So let's just quickly jump over there and see if there's any more information on that. Okay, so taking a quick look at those, there's nothing particularly new in there and expansive in terms of what you can get from where. It's just links to the previous articles discussing the reasoning for the removal of Nuclear Winter and basically what we've just covered here. So there's nothing particularly new or interesting in there. So, some changes to the UI. There's some Pipboy changes coming. Junk acquired from scrapping items will now appear in the new tab, so that's going to be helpful. Inventory items can now be sorted by their stack weight, so an additional organisation option. And when scrolling the Pipboy inventory, navigating up from the top item in the list will move the player's selection to the bottom of the list, and vice versa, so you can jump straight from the top to the bottom, and vice versa should you want to. Useful for longer lists, I should imagine. So, just a couple of little quality of life things for navigating your Pipboy there, but that's definitely welcome. So, a world change. Alongside this update for the Fallout 76, Vault 51 has now opened for exploration in all game modes, including Adventure. Follow the red wire to find your way inside, then poke around to learn more about what befell the dwellers of Vault 51. So that's the vault that Nuclear Winter was set around. So for those of us who didn't get the opportunity to fully explore the lore of that location, for whatever reasons, you can now head on in there and check the place out and find out what happened, which should be very, very cool. So, that's the big stuff, and we're into bug fixes. So, as usual, I'm not going to go through everything, as there is a hefty bunch here. I'll just pick out the stuff that I think is most interesting. However, if you do want to check this out, as always, I'll link the patch notes down below the video, so you can go and have a look for yourself and have a read through if there's anything in particular you want to keep your eyes out for that perhaps I didn't mention. So, let's have a gander, shall we? Ooh, there we go, and art change for emotes. Fix an issue that could cause a player to be stuck in an emote animation loop. So that's the previous fix for that was just to emote again, but the player couldn't see that they were doing it. Only other players could, so good to have that fixed. It's not a major problem, but that's nice. I know a lot of people have run into that. Almost everybody, I should imagine. So that's a good fix. Power armor. Transferring pieces of Stranglerheart power armor to a power armor chassis no longer causes duplicate vines to appear and float nearby. It's a little visual fix. So camps and workshops, appliances. The Robco snow machine now remains switched off after fast travelling or logging off, so presumably until switched on again. Blueprints. Creating an auto blueprint by moving a camp no longer causes the store button to become visually greyed out when that blueprint is selected in build mode. Maximum build counts now correctly account for items that have already been stored, so your budget should be giving you correct information now. Fix an issue where items could visually fall off the display cases the player had assigned them to. Okay. Lights. The option that appears when viewing a destroyed fire barrel is now correctly labelled repair instead of take. When standing just outside a camp's buildable area, no longer prevents the player from building a shelter entrance within it. So this was a change they made a while ago and didn't really mention that you can actually stand outside your build area and build inside it. You can't build outside it, but as long as the object you're building's inside, the workshop mode won't close on you, unless you move a long way away, I guess. But yeah, it's handy when you're working in confined spaces sometimes. The visual build boundary no longer persists after exiting build mode at Mount Blair Workshop. Always helpful. So cultist ghouls now correctly count towards challenges that require players to kill cultists. I wonder if they count towards challenges that require you to kill ghouls. So, loads of fixes to daily ops. Locations now properly play music that's specific to the game mode. Weapon sound effects have been slowed down when affected by freezing touch. When using Pepper Shaker with a standard magazine, enemies in daily ops will now drop shotgun shells more often. Cultists now correctly display objective markers overhead during daily ops inside Vault 96. Enemies who have rocket launchers no longer stop shooting at the player after firing a single rocket. Good to know. Daily ops bosses no longer prioritise melee attacking the player over using their primary weapons. So this is very relevant, because particularly with the Mole Miner and I think arguably the Blood Eagle one as well, that's going to make them a bit more dangerous, I think. Blood Eagles? No, the Scorched one I'm thinking of. So those are going to be considerably more dangerous now, so bear that in mind. Fix an issue that could cause Mothman hatchlings to become invincible. Great. And they are no longer unresponsive either. Fix an issue that could cause Mothman hatchlings to become stuck in walls after teleporting. And camouflage Mothman hatchlings no longer become invisible while attacking. So, basically, they should work properly now, which is great. Well, looks like they had a whole host of problems. Entering a daily op in Watoga Civic Centre during the quest, the Old Western Shuffle no longer causes incorrect quest targets to display inside the daily op instance, so they are properly separated. Custom map markers no longer appear on the compass while in a daily op. Enemies with volatile no longer damage other enemies on death. More's the pity. All weapons used by freezing enemies will now apply the freezing touch effect, except grenades and mines. Freezing touch effect no longer persists after leaving a daily op. And getting hit by enemies with freezing touch now causes freezing touch effect to appear in the Pipboy. Yeah, minor thing. Enemies with group regeneration now properly heal by nearby companions, so that should make them a little bit more challenging, because group regeneration was kind of negligible so far. So the operation report, description text for Elder Tier rewards now correctly states that it guarantees a rare reward on the player's first completion. Fixed an issue that could cause the operation report to display an incredibly high completion time. I think a few of us have seen that one. Fixed an issue that allowed players to earn daily ops rewards more often than intended by playing during the daily reset. Adjusted the subtitles for several of Vernon Dodge's voice lines so they actually match his voiceover. So quite a lot of fixes in there, mostly making mutations function the way they should do and making enemies a little bit more dangerous for the most part with these bug fixes. So bear that in mind before you head into your daily ops. So I've got a few event and quest fixes. A Knight's Penance, the shovel no longer retains its quest item status after clearing the rock wall in the quest. Satisfied Conscience, picking up a clue during defeat the robot's objective and then logging out no longer prevents this quest from progressing after logging back in. In field testing, Romani now says the correct dialogue based on the player's choices when asked about the Putnams. And in Manhunt, VATS will now target Mad Dog Malone. Hopefully they'll fix the frame rate drops that often happen around Grafton. That will be nice. We'll see in a bit, I guess. In Missing Persons, they fix an issue that could prevent players from progressing the quest after finding the Dove Necklace. Good, that needed doing. And Monster Mash, being on the leaderboard no longer prevents the player from joining daily ops. Interesting. One Violent Night, playing an instrument no longer causes enemies to stand still or run away from the player, so you will get attacked when playing instruments in that event now. And in the Catalyst, right at the start of Steel Rain, Russell Dorsey will no longer remain inside Fort Atlas after the quest. Not sure what he does doing inside there anyway. And the Elusive Crane fixed an issue, which is from the Wastelanders stuff, going back in time here, fixed an issue that could allow players to repeatedly receive an item reward from the Rogco cache, which is, yeah, good. It means you only get the one reward. So, a couple of item fixes. The ammo converter, they fixed an issue where it would remove or grant cryo ammo while attempting to buy or sell fuel. Attempting to transfer a legendary core into a container now correctly causes a "you can't store that here" message to appear. So that basically means you can't put them in your stash, and it also means that players can't shift them from one character to another, which is the way it's meant to work. So, legendary weapons fixed an issue causing melee weapons with the reflects 50% of melee damage while blocking legendary effect to do more damage than intended. So that's a little nerf because they were overdoing it. Melee weapons. Players can now properly pick up sheepsquatch clubs found in the world. Black powder weapons now correctly have a no appearance mod, and weapon paints the player had previously applied can be removed. So we have a couple of localization fixes for those who are interested in those. So NPCs, a couple of changes. They've removed a number of item plans from Minerva's inventory that can be earned elsewhere, like the ammo converter and the chicken coop. So my guess is these were supposed to be occasional as opposed to permanent, and that's what's going on, but I'm not too sure. I do recall seeing both of those, but they are bullion items, so I'm not sure why they'd remove them, or at least the ammo converter is, I think. So an odd one, that one, but fair enough. And NPCs who wear power armor will no longer be affected by debuffs caused by having an empty fusion core. Yeah, that's a simple practical change, I think, makes sense. Perk cards, there's a few in here that I know people were looking forward to. Cannibal, players who are on a team but are not the team leader can now correctly consume corpses inside instant cells. Grenadier now properly increases the blast damage radius of grenades. So, doesn't say anything here about whether or not that affects explosive weapons. I've heard suggestions that it's supposed to, and that's what the change is supposed to fix, but it doesn't say anything about it, so I guess we'll have to see. I'm sure somebody who is better at testing these things than I am will give us an answer before long. But yeah, there is a fix to Grenadier, and it should work at least properly for grenades, if nothing else. Lock and load. Entering or exiting power armor no longer removes the fast reload effect, which is definitely a good thing. So, a couple of UI things. The scoreboard, the repeatable rank up reward after reaching rank 130 now appears correctly on the scoreboard. So if you get past rank 130, it'll tell you correctly what rank you're at now, instead of just being stuck where it was, which is definitely a good thing. Only affect a few people, I think, that one, but good nonetheless. Social, fixed an issue that could cause pending friend requests to disappear after a few minutes, and fixed an issue that could cause a player to appear offline to their friends when viewed in the friends list. So this has been a recent issue. The previous one, hopefully, that'll solve the issue of all friends requests disappearing and not being able to accept any at all, which has been a thing on PC for ages. The fix for that previously, if it happened to you, was to just send yourself a friend request and it would make them all reappear, but hopefully that will not be necessary anymore, so that's good to have. So, there we go. A little selection of the bug fixes there. They go on for quite some time, so I definitely don't want to go into all of them, otherwise we'll be here all day. I'm already on, yikes, a long recording time, so quite long enough. It'll be cut down a little bit, obviously, before we get this video up. So, definitely happy with a lot of the changes here. Looking forward to trying out the new Daily Ops stuff. Looking forward to some of the public worlds. I'm going to definitely do a Happy Builder build. Probably not this weekend. I think it'll be the week after. But I'm looking forward to jumping in and trying that out. Obviously, I'm not going to do it on custom worlds because anybody who hasn't got Fallout First won't be able to do the same things there. They'll be locked out of it. But at least with Happy Builder World, everybody has access to that, at least while it's available. So if you do want to jump in and have a crack at something similar, you'd be able to do that. So that should be fun. As for the other ones, I'm not going to be doing the PvP one. I'm just not into that. It's not my idea of fun. But for most of the other ones, they are quite fun and have a different theme, so it'll be fun to just sort of drop those into streams when we've got a bit of spare time as well, do something a bit different, just sort of flesh out some of the shorter streams that occasionally come around, so that should be quite cool. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, should be good. I have got an idea for something I'd like to try out with custom worlds though, so I might look into that over the next day or two once the update goes live. So there's it's not Dweller Must Die world that increases enemy difficulty. Quite a fun world, but it's not the way I would go about increasing it, so I want to see if I can set something up to make it more difficult the way I would do it, which would not be to everybody's taste, but I think it might be interesting and fun anyway, so we'll have to see. It might not be possible, but it'll be worth a look. So, on that note, I do hope you found this useful and informative. It's been quite a long one, and as usual, there's a lot of detail in these patch notes, so lots to look out and try out. Definitely looking forward to trying out some of the new features. It should be good fun. And yeah, a couple of weeks on the new season, looking forward to that as well. So, thank you all for watching. Very big high fives to all of you who made it this far. I do very, very much appreciate it. Please do consider dropping subs and likes if you haven't already. I very much appreciate it. It does help out. Social media links, merch store, and channel memberships are all available down below the video as well. If you're interested in supporting the channel in that way, it really, really helps out, and I hugely appreciate it. So massive thank you to everybody who has done that. And if you get a chance, of course, join us for the live streams as well. We are playing Fallout 76, and we have just started The Witcher, the first one. So it's been fun last night. Looking forward to jumping back into that tomorrow. And with Deathloop just around the corner, I might be jumping into that when it comes out. So that might be worth a look as well. So I do hope you'll make it for those. But for now, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.